Hey everyone, I'm so excited to have you back with me for another episode of our journey through English grammar. In the last episode, we explored nouns, and today we are going to dive into another essential part of speech verbs. Now, I know you have probably heard the word verb many times, but let's take a moment to really understand what a verb is and why it is so crucial. Simply put, verbs are action words. They describe what is happening, what someone is doing, or the state of something. Without verbs, our sentences would be incomplete. Verbs make sentences dynamic, they bring them to life. Without them, we wouldn't know what action is taking place or what state something is in. Think about it for a second. How would you tell someone what's going on if you didn't use a verb? Let's break down the different types of verbs and explore how they function in our sentences. Number one, action verbs. Action verbs are probably the first kind of verbs you think of when you hear the word verb. They show us physical or mental actions. Action verbs describe what someone is doing or what's happening. For example, run, write, sing, jump, think, and eat. Let's take a closer look at how they work in sentences. In the sentence, she runs every morning, the verb runs tells us what action she is performing. Or in the sentence, he is thinking about his plans, the verb thinking shows what action is occurring in his mind. I write in my journal every night. Here, write shows the action of recording thoughts. So, as you can see, action verbs tell us what happens or what is being done. They are incredibly important because they give movement and meaning to a sentence. With action verbs, sentences would be pretty dull. Now, moving on, let's take a look at another important category of verbs. Number two, linking verbs. Unlike action verbs, linking verbs don't show an action, and instead they connect the subject to more information about the subject. Linking verbs help us describe a state or condition. They link the subject to a word or phrase that gives us more detail about it. Some common linking verbs are is, am, are, was, were. For example, in the sentence, the sky is blue, the verb is doesn't show action. Instead, it links the subject sky to its description blue. Similarly, in she is a teacher, the verb is links the subject she to her profession. The verb is doesn't show action. It simply describes her state of being. Linking verbs help us describe the condition or status of the subject in our sentence. So as you can see, linking verbs don't show action. They show how something is or what something is like. They provide more context to the subject, making our sentences more informative. Without linking verbs, we wouldn't be able to express state of being or provide additional details. Number three, auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Next up, we have auxiliary verbs, also known as helping verbs. These verbs work together with a main verb to help express different tenses, moods, or voices in a sentence. Auxiliary verbs are essential for forming question and negative sentences or different tenses. Some common auxiliary verbs are have, has, had, will, can, could, might, may, should, and would. For example, I have finished my homework. Here have is the auxiliary verb helping to form the present perfect tense. She will go to the party tomorrow. In this case, will helps us express the future tense. Can you help me? Here can is used to form a question. They have not yet arrived. In this sentence, have helps form the negative sentence. So as you can see, auxiliary verbs help add meaning by showing when something is happening, past, present, future, whether it is a question or a statement, or even if something is negative. Without these auxiliary verbs, we wouldn't be able to express the complexity of time and action that makes our language so rich. Why verbs are so important? Now that we have covered three major types of verbs, let's take a step back and think about why verbs are so essential. Verbs are the backbone of every sentence. Without them, sentences wouldn't make sense. If I say, she, the book, you immediately notice something is missing. We don't know what she is doing with the book. But if I add the verb reads, she reads the book, the sentence becomes clear. Verbs help us describe action, state, and time. They allow us to tell what's happening and when it happens. They are absolutely necessary for clear communication. Without verbs, we wouldn't be able to express what we want to say. Challenge time. Now let's have some fun with verbs. I want you to think of three sentences right now. One with an action verb. I walk to work every day. One with a linking verb. The cake is delicious. One with an auxiliary verb. She has finished her homework. Try to use different types of verbs in your sentences and pay attention to how they change the meaning of the sentence. I bet you'll start to notice how often you use verbs in your daily life. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you now have a deeper understanding of verbs and why they are so crucial to forming complete, meaningful sentences. In the next episode, we will explore another important part of speech, so don't forget to tune in. Until then, keep practicing, stay curious, and I will see you in the next episode.